Personally, music has always been a very special companion throughout my whole life, and it has gave me so much happiness and also tested me a lot. But yeah, it's just been giving me so much fulfillment throughout my journey. Hi, I'm Alarico, producer and DJ living in Berlin. Thank you for having me here for this interview. I released on labels such as Techno Records, Newrhytmic. I have my own imprint now with Claire. It's called Primal, and I'm very happy to be here for this interview. So I started my music journey in Italy. Now I'm currently living in Berlin. I started when I was around 15. At the same time, both playing and producing music, and I just tried so many different genres and so many different aliases as well, just trying things out. But it was until like 2018, 2019 until I discovered what was really fitting for me, which is this, minimal old school techno. And I took it from there. I really produced a lot during the pandemic, and my sound is constantly evolving. I don't like to repeat myself, and because that's very uninspiring for me. I always try to find new stuff, and I'm currently a lot into this 90s techno sound. But I started out with tech house as well, like good minimal tech house in Milano, playing in clubs here and there. And just like when I was 15, 16, exploring the club cultures there. Right. So I found out about electronic music already like when I was 13. I used to listen to a lot of Skrillex and dubstep, and this dubstep sound design was really captivating me. And I was wondering how Skrillex and other producers were making these sounds, so that was already super interesting for me. And I got more into this kind of, minimal techno approaching clubs, but it wasn't until I was in Berlin that I really experienced this super stripped down and minimal rolling techno that we enjoy. And then afterwards, actually, I went back and I discovered 90s techno. So it wasn't until like 4 or 5 years ago that I rediscovered, the past and the history of techno with, Jeff Mills, the Purpose Maker releases. That's very inspiring for me. Then Primal recordings, early 2000 techno. That's very, very inspiring stuff for me. But it wasn't up until like 3-4 years ago that I discovered that old school sound, And I really find inspiration for modern artists. For example, Blauan, is one of my main references in terms of sound design, and I think what it does is really unique. And for example, the fact that I like Blauan really reminds me of the fact that I used to find Skrillex very interesting, because they have this like very weird, like robotic sound design type of synths, and it's interesting for me that even 10 years ago I used to kind of like the same stuff that I like today, so it's kind of was always inside me, it's just it has different faces through time. So and not only this, I find a lot of inspiration through hip-hop, 90s hip-hop, and that's why I have an MPC now. It was like one of the main iconic workflow standalone stations for hip-hop producers. It's like an iconic machine. And I really like the way artists like J Dilla and Mobb Deep were doing their beats. It's really inspiring for me, even to use in my nowadays music. So how I normally approach a DJ set is I'm trying to express myself to the fullest. So usually the way I do it is in the USB I have like a playlist of about maybe 150 tracks that I'm really feeling at the moment, and I always like to refresh this playlist maybe once a month. And for each gig I will maybe select around 50-60, because as soon as I know which kind of venue I'm gonna play, especially by the way it looks, I kinda already get which kind of vibe it can be. but not always, because some venues really surprised me. Maybe I thought I wasn't gonna be a crazy party, and then it happened to be crazy. So that's also the magic of DJing, you know. I'm trying to approach the club with something that, like, I kind of know already what I want to tell, but also I'm super versatile. If people are not really feeling a certain stuff, I'm just gonna switch to the left. If the left doesn't work, switch to the right, and hopefully I'm able to interact with the crowd as well, because I think as long as an artist should be able to tell his own story, it's also important that he can connect with the crowd and have people, make sure that people have a good time, because in the end it's a party, you know, so people just want to have fun, you know. So I don't also really understand this philosophy behind the DJ that doesn't look at the crowd, doesn't feel the crowd, because that's a bit stupid to me. You should be able to connect and make sure that people have a good time, because they pay to be there. So I think being a bit blindfolded and just, oh no, I just want to play my stuff, I know I have to play this after this and after this, that doesn't really resonate with me. So I'm just trying to have a good time first when I'm DJing, and then of course make people have a good time and enjoy the music. Yeah. So what I would like to give and sensitize people more is, especially new artists who are approaching music for the first time, is just follow what you're really liking at the moment, and don't be afraid to try new stuff. And you should not sound like any other artist out there. You should just sound like yourself. That's the most important thing, and I hope more artists that are approaching techno are just gonna follow what they feel inside. Yeah. So music is really a very complex theme that I think drives many like different aspects of our lives. For example, I associate music with a lot of, for example, working, relationship and friendships. Like, it's just not something that people consume on a daily basis, at least for us that we're into this industry, you know, a bit more deeper. But I would say for most people, music is something that they see as a product, which is a bit sad as well. But for me personally, it's been all my life since I was like 12 or 13, because I was already, you know, buying a small controller and just, you know, messing around, and just I really felt this need to express myself into music, you know. So I think, yeah, music is really personally driving force throughout my whole life. I don't know what I will do honestly without it. So yeah, it's just been something so fulfilling and so special that made me discover so many places. Like here, for example, is my first time in India, and made me discover so many friends, and even, for example, my partner, my girlfriend, I discovered her, like, we met through music, you know. So it's been my whole life, and I'm really happy to be able to express myself in this way. Yeah. It's quite unique and special. Yeah.